Hello, everyone. This is Pamela Topjian, and this is not a holistic connections episode. So, this is a little different than my usual videos between the podcast videos because I have a very special guest today. This is Tashiana Reaves. I want to welcome you, Tashiana, back.
Hi, Pamela. Thank you for having me back. I
Oh my
appreciate it.
gosh.
Thank you.
So excited.
Well,
So, Tashiana Reaves, also known as Tashiana the Sun Goddess, which is the name of your website as well, and
yes.
we'll have that link below. You are a natural born psychic medium, a Kemetic priestess, a healer, a teacher, and a reader of all different types of cards, auras, and energy readings. You're an herbalist with an apothecary for customized blessed herbal support, which is on your website as
Yes.
well, and also a co-owner of an organic living soil cultivation company.
I am.
And all of this is on your
Yeah.
website.
Yes.
But
I
today,
when you list it like that, it sounds like I do so much.
yeah. Today we're going to do a little tarot talk because I we both love tarot, and you
I
have
even brought cards for reference.
I
So
brought to show some of mine as well.
I brought some. So I'm excited. I love tarot. So
Yeah. You have inspired me to want to continue to learn and grow in, I don't want to say my tarot practice because I don't have
right.
one, but I do want to
Yeah.
mention
Yeah.
that, yeah, yet that one of the reasons, and just divination in general, I put my little crystal ball over here
Yeah.
as well
I
for
saw
this
that.
video. But I have been so interested in tarot for so many years, off and on and in and out of it, as far as my involvement, and just throughout my life even. And I'm 60 this year, so it's been so much off and on and off and on in a roller coaster with tarot and divination. But one of the reasons that I stopped even kind of doing anything with it is because it's one of those things, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know, that there's
Exactly.
just so much. It's
Exactly.
so
Yes.
involved. And anybody that can really kind of master that, I just am really inspired by and really amazed by. And you are one of those people who have
Cute.
just really, it's obviously it's your thing, you know?
I love to. Well, I no, I really appreciate that because I always, coming from a very strict Christian upbringing, it's
Hmm.
frowned upon to use these kind of tools. Okay, but it's one of my like passions because I feel like it largely contributed to like my spiritual growth.
Hmm.
Um, it, I literally am self-taught because I learned via cartomancy originally, which we'll get
Hmm.
into that obviously in a moment. But tarot to me, because of it being so archetypal, it is so good for like the literal development of your soul's progress.
Yeah.
Um, Opposed to like just cartomancy, which for me is more, it's a lot like Lenormand, where it's more like the mundane daily things you might be facing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have like a real thing for tarot because it really is in its original intended state. It's such a good divine tool, but it's just been misunderstood and distorted a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, I've used the word divination a few times here, and I think
Mhm.
connecting tarot with divination kind of gives it that stigma of maybe being part
Correct.
of maybe the occult or the Wiccan practices and stuff like that. And maybe it is, and there's nothing wrong with that. But a
Correct.
lot of people who are more on the religious end of things are more scared away from that or have been maybe taught away from those words or the use of those tools.
Yeah, and it's funny because I have a tarot course.
Mm.
And whenever I'm teaching it, everyone is amazed because they're like, "Man, I can like take this back to my Christian family," because people don't know that every single tarot card is associated with a specific angel. Like there's one that rules every decan and it's associated with each tarot. So I'm like, it really is a divine tool. If you use it the right way, you can even have like direct angel guidance if you use it the right way.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's definitely had, it has a little stigma, but that's kind of why I do what I do to destigmatize it in a way, you know?
Right. Right. And being that you are a more traditional religious person as well as very much on the spiritual side, I think it really gives a good example for people who might be a little bit scared off by it.
Exactly. A little more hesitant because I
Right.
actually had a friend recently and she's like, man, you have a lot of really religious people that still get your services. I was like, well, I think because I am able to fuse it in a way, it's like no one's alienated, you know, and really all of that's what a lot of these divination tools are intended for. So
Hmm.
that's, you know, but people are waking up and
Yeah.
coming around to it. So I'm happy to help.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. People are starting to become more aware of how deep it really goes. And that's
Yeah.
one of the things too that I wanted to talk about. There's so much, as I said, there's just so much involved in tarot. There's, astrology, there's
Yes.
numerology, there's symbology, and there is even religious aspects to it. And just so can you talk on that a little bit about everything that's involved?
I can. So I know for a lot of people, it can be really overwhelming because
Yeah.
it really is, even though it's a tool, it
Yeah.
really almost has its own science to it, if
Mm-hmm.
you will. Um, Now, whenever I'm trying to explain this to individuals, all of the cards, they literally are following the story of a typical human being here on Earth,
Mm-hmm.
from your beginning journeys all the way to your end journey. And every single major arcana, minor arcana helps you to identify. Now, I usually like to, I know other people that teach tarot or
Mm-hmm.
educate people on it do it differently. I always kind of encourage people to start with their intuitive faculties
Yeah, that's something I
because
was going to ask you about. Yeah, go ahead.
because it's less overwhelming, and in my professional opinion, it tends to be more accurate for you. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why a lot of readers are very different. It it definitely benefits people to understand it as what is the saying, understanding the parts of a whole, you know, so you
Yeah.
understand how it operates. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to use every single part of the
Yeah.
whole. When I'm reading, there are different things that stand out to me because I also kind of have more expanded abilities. So I might pull a Eight of Wands when I'm doing a reading, for example. I'm already going to know that intuitively, whatever comes to me first is what I'm going to hold at the top tier. After that, I begin interpreting it as a science or as it is intended. So
Mm-hmm.
then I'll layer in, okay, well, it is from the wand suit, and that is going to be like a primal energy, creative energy, charisma, all these different, identifying factors. And then I'm going to look at the numerology of it. Am I always going to do that for every single reading? No, because I might not actually be called to do that. Like I intuitively or within my spirit, I may just know that just reading this intuitively is enough. And
Mm-hmm.
that was the original intent with tarot. Like although every card has I'm gonna call it a definition, if you will, for the
Okay.
sake of simplicity. Every card has a definition.
Yeah, like a book meaning. Yeah.
Exactly, but every single individual is going to interpret that differently. So over the years, it's like it's been so distorted that I
Mm-hmm.
usually tell individuals you are best to learn the identifying factors of the major arcana, the 22 cards, and then after that, understanding what each suit means.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to hyper focus on the numerology of it because that is actually something that is more crucial when I'm reading standard cartomancy or cardology than in tarot to me.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
I
Yeah.
really feel like tarot is kind of special in a way that even though you don't need to have psychic gifts to read tarot, it does something to like speak to everyone's soul. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm not opposed to get some people, don't want to get readings from others. I don't often get readings from others, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I am because I am interested in their energy and I'm interested in seeing how they're going to interpret something,
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately it's a developmental tool. Like that's
Yeah.
another thing. I feel like people seek out learning tarot because they want it to be solely predictive. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's probably one of the worst things you can do with it because that's not really its true intent.
Yeah.
So it can lead to what I call the spiritual psychosis, those that are
Mm-hmm.
using it just redundantly because they are
Yeah.
dependent on it. Um, Now, again, back to the overall science of it, is it important to learn it at a base, like a whole level? Yes. The parts are very important. And if anyone is going to start outside of your intuitive abilities, I'm going to say make sure you understand the significance of each major arcana and then understand the entire suit of the minor arcana and go from there. After
Yeah.
that, I really rely a lot on intuitive faculties and imagery. So
Yeah.
even yourself, probably when you're buying certain cards, you're more drawn to a certain deck than another deck. I mean,
Yeah.
that intuitive faculty. I'm not going to deny that faculty because there's something in that imagery that your
Yeah.
spirit is able to interpret at a higher level, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, there's a lot of different things that go into learning it, but I feel like people get very overwhelmed because there's a lot of information out
Yeah.
there.
That was me.
My number one rule of thumb is start with your intuition. I mean, I have people that my tarot course is like over the course of 6 months. And
Mm-hmm.
in the first 2 months, I've had students that are like, I don't think I can do this at all. I just keep like, it's like a rabbit hole. Like it's a
Yeah.
wormhole. It just
Right.
keeps expanding. And I'm like, well, you don't need to it's like learning anything. You're going to learn. That does not mean you have to apply every single thing you learn. You always want to go with your intuition first and never,
Yeah.
it does not fail people. I tell people this, you really have to rely on your intuitive faculties. Spirit is not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I really feel that anybody who's trying to develop their intuition, that the cards will also help with that, as long as, like you said, as long as you really apply it and listen to it and
Yes,
knowing with that first gut instinct. I know like a card will come up and it has this definition or book meaning that you were talking about, but you might be getting a completely different feeling and go with that first, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel. I couldn't have said it any, that's it. That just go exactly with how you feel because it does not matter that I mean, I've had students that they will say, listen, I'm feeling this. And I'll have them even read me personally, like just to see, like go ahead,
Right.
go for it. And I'm like, you were better. Your interpretation was spot on when you used your intuitive faculty opposed to hyper focusing on the
Hmm.
actual literal definition or meaning of the card. So yeah, one of my mentors used to say tarot is like an activator. So it piggybacks on what you just said, how
Yeah.
it can help you develop your intuitive faculties. It is actually one of the first things, hence how I got into tarot, because I just did cartomancy before that. That was it.
Hmm.
And she's like, if you really want to up your intuitive abilities and really learn to, my issue was harnessing my abilities. I had them. I just
Yes.
didn't know how to control them. That was my issue. Tarot, I would largely credit to them. Like
Hmm.
honestly, it
Because you
helped
could
me.
focus in on something then or
It,
someone or both really. Like if you're reading for somebody else, you can really focus in on that card that was for them, and that really
yes,
helps to harness that. Yeah.
it was like unlocking like abilities I didn't even know I had. I would say I find that a lot of people that use tarot, their clairvoyance is it enhances it greatly
Yeah.
as well. And your claircognizance, which a lot of people don't even know what that is, but your internal knowing, like I just
Yeah.
know this is right. And it's one of the best tools for that. So that I'm kind of happy you said that because it is
Yeah.
literally an activator in that.
Do you think that that's something that holds people back more than anything is just trusting that intuition?
Yes.
You know?
100%. 100% yes. I always tell individuals you have to have, faith, the faith of a mustard seed, that will actually take you far if you truly believe in it. And you have to believe in yourself. Like, why would your own spirit lie to you? I always tell people that, like,
Yeah.
I would rather you believe yourself before believing me. I have had individuals I give readings to, and they're like, I would take your word. I'm like, no, no, no. You should actually take your own word. And
Right.
then, if what I'm saying intuitively feels correct to you,
Hmm.
then go with that. But that's like one of my rule of thumbs when people are looking for readers. I'm like,
Hmm.
go with your intuition first. You don't need to go to who has the most followers, who
Right.
has the biggest audience, because listen, there are a lot of readers that have very large audiences. I mean, I don't
Hmm.
consider mine's large. It's mid-size, I guess, if you will. But even I'm like, do not look at these numbers and conflate that for someone being a
Yeah.
talented reader. Like, make sure you look through their work and see how your intuition responds to it. Because
Yeah.
sometimes that's all you need to know. Like I've had people that are like, I have no idea why I booked with you. My intuition just told me to book with you. And I'm like, okay. I've, I've had people that are in Australia they saw me on YouTube and they're like, yeah, my intuition just said to make this, like, book this reading. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
welcome. I don't know a soul in Australia, but I have like probably like 30 clients from Australia because their intuition led them here. So I tell individuals,
That's
especially looking
amazing.
for readers, like your intuition will not lie to you at all. It will
Yeah.
keep you the safest. Then after that, of course, just see what others are saying. I find that people that give readings generously as well, those that tend to do a lot of like free readings, those are good areas to start with, but
Mm-hmm.
making sure that they can even read in that aspect. Some people are more talented at reading what we would call like what community energy, if you will, you know,
Mm-hmm.
at larger scale rather than like collective energy, I think is the term
Yeah.
they use
Yeah.
now, the collective.
Right, right.
Yeah, I don't know. They changed the words up so much.
Right.
I have
No,
no
I
idea.
know. I know.
So, but the collective energy, like those
Yeah.
that can read, because they might be very, very good for reading at large scale levels, but maybe
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to individuals, they're not quite as talented at that. And then those are the readers that larger corporations can work with because you're
Yeah.
reading at a large scale. So there are a lot of factors, but definitely intuition
Mm-hmm.
and just look through some reviews or see what others
Right.
say about them. But your
Yeah.
intuition will never fail you on any end of the spectrum. Looking for a reader or being a reader yourself will
Mm-hmm.
never fail you.
Yeah. 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 Such good information there. Yeah, definitely follow that intuition. So you were mentioning like the collective and people might be reading better for the collective than they might be individually. And so
Right.
I wanted to ask you about some of the card readers on
There's a lot
YouTube.
of us. Yeah, there's a
But
lot
on
of us.
YouTube that like give readings like here's the reading for this month for
Right.
everybody. And so those might be the ones that are feeling more of like the collective energy and being able to give that kind of overall reading for a month or this week or whatever.
Right.
Um, but it doesn't mean that they're not good individually either, but I'm just saying
Right.
that's kind of the thing that those readers might do. So you mentioned that you'll have your students read for you, and sometimes some readers have other readers read for them, and that
Correct.
and people are very different, of course, in how they read, like you said, and how we were talking about how one card might mean one thing in the booklet, but it really is coming to you differently. So if you have somebody read for you and a card is laid down and in your mind right away it means something, but then they say something completely different in your mind.
Mhm.
So do you feel like, or I should say, I feel like that it's the reader, if you've come to somebody for a reading, that's what they're getting from their intuition. So that's more of, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm a little confused on that. So how do you feel about that? Am I
So,
making sense?
yeah, no, you make perfect sense.
Okay.
Perfect sense because I've had this happen several times.
Okay. Sure.
Usually and this is me as someone who is like educating them in that moment. I
Yeah.
will let them continue on. Like I'll say, hey, can you kind of elaborate or clarify? I will usually ask, can you clarify it for me? And then they may pull a few more cards or
Hmm.
whatever, you know, if we're working Oracle, but typically tarot. And then once I see the cards that come out, it's hand to goodness, it's almost like every time I'm like, okay, we're there. They
Okay.
just needed a little bit more, but I have not really had, and I'm speaking personally from my students, I haven't
Hmm.
had any that were so far off that I was concerned ever.
Yeah.
It's almost like saying the same thing, but hey, you're translating it in Spanish, you're translating it in Russian, you're
Yeah.
translating it in whatever language, and there might be some different distortion, but overall,
Hmm.
the ultimate message is the same. So I
Yeah.
find that that happens now outside of my students. Have I had experiences where it is my intuition is like absolutely not, we're done here because this is absolutely wrong? Yes, that has happened
Mm.
to me. I don't, I'm going to say let's maybe 3 or 4 times
Yeah. Just
because
a
I'm
few times.
thinking
Yeah.
a few times, not that often, because again, I don't get read that often by
Hmm.
others. So I actually get told often that I'm hard to read. So, um, which comes with a lot of other spiritual protection. So I'm sure.
Yes.
Um, but I have had that happen with readers that I just absolutely have no connection with, or, and again, for me, when that happens, does that I have one in particular. I would never say the person's name, but I
Hmm.
personally think she's actually a really good reader. Was she a good reader for me? No. So
Yeah.
that is when intuitively, when I was offered this reading and I initially wanted to decline and I didn't, I should have
Mm.
followed my intuitive instinct because I knew there would just be, it's almost like some energies, there's such a buffer between the
Yeah.
two. There are other spiritual forces at play that it just doesn't allow a clear connection, or there could be interference or whatever it may be. But is she a really good reader? Yes. Like
Yeah.
I still watch her readings. I watch them. I think they're great. It
Hmm.
just wasn't a good fit for me because I intuitively went against my instincts and
Right.
knew that we wouldn't have a real connection. Even
Right.
on a good example is on my site, whenever readings are available, it does say there that I kind of leave it open to, I'm, how do I put this? I'm very well known for I will refund someone's money if I immediately know intuitively
Yeah.
that I will have a hard time spiritually connecting for you, because
Hmm.
why waste your money? You know,
Hmm.
and people love that for me, and I will refer them to someone else that I
Yeah.
feel intuitively would serve them better, and it works out. So,
Yeah. Great.
yeah, I'm not big on hoarding clients in
Right.
any
Right.
way. So I genuinely will guide people to where they need to be, but I
Yeah.
myself have gone against my instincts and it's resulted in not a great reading, but that
Hmm.
reader is still a good reader. I've had experiences where the person is just absolutely not good at all. So
Yeah.
that happened one time ever, and
Yeah.
she has since improved, but
It
that
takes time. It
does
takes
take time.
time.
I think I
Yeah.
caught her very early on.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've had anyone where I was just like, "Oh, you are absolutely terrible." Because with tarot, it again can be very intuitive. So it's
Hmm.
like to each his own almost. So
Right.
yeah. Now when we get into like, which we're not discussing now, but like mediumship and things,
Yeah.
that's way more evidential, and it's, that's a lot more involved. It's
So,
pretty easy to spot someone that's not genuine in that field. But
yeah.
tarot, I don't feel like there is any not genuine or not good reader. They just may not be good for you. That's
Right.
all. Yeah.
Right. So I want to mention and ask you about different like card spreads and the different
Mhm.
types of ways that you lay them down. But before we get there, since you
Yeah.
mentioned the mediumship, um, like I said earlier, I really feel like the cards, and you agreed, that will help you develop your intuition. What about
Yes.
mediumship? Do you feel like if that's something that you're interested in, if that's something that you may have somewhat abilities with, um, will the cards also help with that? Okay.
So, yes, because you
Okay.
can consult the cards in a way to even see if it's something that's in your spiritual path, because
Mm,
ultimately that's what it's a tool for. Now I'm gonna be the wild card here because it is possible anybody can develop mediumship. They
yeah.
really can.
Yeah.
Now, some of us are just lucky enough, lucky enough to be genetically predisposed to being one
Right.
with it open and not closing. Because a lot of us are mediums up until we're 6 or 7 years old. We just close down. So,
Hmm.
some like yourself, you're probably a medium when you were younger. They have
Yeah.
had interactions with spirits, and you're like, hey, when I'm 8, 9, I don't remember this happening, but younger than that, you do. So,
Yeah.
um, it's so funny because with mediumship, I always tell individuals that's one of the best things to use tarot for, because
Oh.
I'm going to consult it in a way where you are going to consult the angels within the card to help with that particular. And every single angel has some sort of spiritual ability it can assist you with. So it's
Mm.
kind of interesting because you really can use it as a great tool for that too. So, and I don't know if others use it, but tarot can also be used, and I even myself, like it's used in actual rituals itself. Like you
Yeah.
use the cards for the energy for representation.
Oh
So
my gosh.
it
Yeah.
can really help if someone just lit a white candle and put a high priestess card underneath it, and
Yeah.
there you go. You can even layer it in Psalm 78, and that unlocks psychic abilities. And there you go. A
Amazing.
simple mini little offering, and the
Yeah.
angel associated with that card is gonna, if you're someone that has
Yeah.
developed mediumship, you might actually see it. If not, you will feel it. But angels are very prone to, they would love to help people have that
Hmm.
ability to see. That's their goal. Like a lot of them. I work with a lot of angels that do that. So Yeah, it's tarot is the tool for that. I'm
For
telling you.
yeah, for all of that.
Um, it is it. I'm even thinking sometimes. So I do physical in person work for my mediumship. Like, someone might call me and say, "Hey, Tasha, I have this type of disturbance in my house. I don't know if it's spiritual or what it is, but I want you to come check it out." I come check it
Mm-hmm.
out. Usually that requires a lot more of my mediumship
Yeah.
abilities, and I will even use tarot cards for like protection. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
use certain cards, bring them with you and just
Mm-hmm.
invoke the angel in the card. It's like having a talisman in your pocket. Like
Yeah, yeah.
so tarot has a million different uses. It's so
Right.
good when you really get into it. It's incredible.
Yeah, and
It
that's
really
why I
is.
wanted to have you on, for this just tarot talk basically,
Yeah.
because there is so much that we could get into with it. You mentioned bringing a card with you or putting one under a candle and different things like that. I just got chills when you said that because I do that kind of thing and I've never really told anybody, and it's not really, I don't know where I heard about using the cards in this way,
You
almost like,
intuitively knew it. You just
yeah,
it's
just like pulling certain cards and just like sleeping with them under my pillow or just like
yeah.
going over them almost like when you're studying something to get that in your mind and to bring that about. And the word manifesting is kind of thrown around a lot these
Yeah.
days, but really they do help in that manner too. And I just got chills when you said that because it's like, oh God, I do that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's so funny because when I say this to people, they're almost like, "Oh my goodness, so I'm not weird for doing that." I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
you're really intuitive is what you are. That's what it
Yeah.
is." Because a lot of people when I tell them this, they think it's brilliant, but it's never even been an inclination. So
We think of
for
it
you,
just for a reading tool. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So for you to use it, it literally is a tool. It's so funny. My friends tell me I'm a strict tarot reader. They're like, you're such a school teacher reader because I do try to keep a very like safe, energetic space when I'm
Sure.
reading, of course. So, and I have friends that they read, and I mean, I can come in their house, they have cards just laying around, not in a deck, just, hey, grab me that deck of cards. And I'm like, oh my goodness, because I'm that person where I'm like cleansing the deck. Like, I'm not super OCD about it, but I like to smoke cleanse between readings. I'll sit it on the altar to make
Yeah.
sure it's blessed. Like I do all of those things. So I really do use it like a tool. Like it's a
Right.
huge
Like
this
a
is my
sacred
favorite.
tool.
This is my favorite deck. I have 8 million decks and I cannot stop using. I don't know if you've ever used the gold foil tarot deck. It's
No.
such a good it's
Let's
so
see it.
good. It's so good. I don't know if you guys can
Couple
see
of them.
that.
Oh, there
It's
you
a
go. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I
Beautiful.
have it in black and gold and then also just in gold. And it's like uh
Beautiful.
it's wonderful. They're
Yeah.
not I don't know what material this is, but it's not standard like card paper.
Right.
It's like not rippable, so it's a
Oh,
wonderful.
nice.
Yeah,
I
they're
have
awesome.
a couple card decks that also have that foil in them, but they're not necessarily. This is the Art Nouveau one that it has that same sort of.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That looks like the gold one I had. That looks a lot
Yeah.
like it. Yeah.
And then there's the Nostradamus deck. Here's the back of it.
Yeah, I
It's
do have
not
that one.
not quite as bright, but yeah.
I have that one also.
Yeah.
I've been using an Egyptian tarot deck a lot lately,
Oh,
actually.
yeah.
It's a really, really, really nice one. I just recently one of my clients gifted it to me and it's so
Oh,
nice.
nice.
It has
Yeah.
really nice artwork.
So do you find you're the favorite deck, or meaning like the
Yes,
deck that you use the most? Do you find that
yes,
that changes over time?
yes. So I like to I have it like well, it's pretty much my workspace, but I have like a bookshelf, but it's all tarot decks because I have
Yeah.
so many. So everyone just knows that if they don't know what to get me, I'm never gonna deny a tarot deck. So they always give them to me. So
Nice.
I usually will go to the area and whatever deck I'm drawn to, I will use. And that is usually it may differ from person to person, but
Sure.
I do usually have like a main deck, like one
Hmm.
that I know that if I don't have time to do the whole intuitive bit and look for a deck, this deck is always reliable. So I have like three of those that I regard that way.
Yeah.
But other than that, I try to do it based on the client.
Hmm.
Because I do get some clients that they don't really want any tarot use
Oh, okay.
or I'll let them actually pick out the deck themselves,
Hmm.
like if we're on a FaceTime sort of call.
Oh, uh-huh.
Um, I find that that works really, really well. They tend to like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't use them quite as often in my readings anymore because I don't know what's going on. It's like a surge in people wanting mediumship readings, which is
Mm,
kind of interesting to me. Maybe
yeah,
with all that's going on in the world, I could kind of get it. But
yeah.
um, I've been doing some tarot and I've just been so happy. I'm like, I
Yeah.
miss it. Because I
It's
do have,
like a first love, you know?
yeah, I get a lot of, believe it or not, a lot of businesses that literally, I'm like, so you guys want me for my actual psychic ability? They're like, no, just to do tarot. I found you on YouTube, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I have like 2-year-old videos on YouTube doing tarot. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. So I find that businesses really do, whether or not they're saying this out loud, because obviously a lot of us can't name them because we sign
Right.
NDAs and whatnot, but
Sure.
there are a lot of businesses, very high
Mhm.
level businesses that have quite a few tarot readers on payroll. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So they do consult the cards more than people would believe.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I believe it for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have your a deck that's like your very first deck? Do you remember it and do you still
Yeah.
have it?
I do still have it. I actually have it down. It's so funny because I was going to bring it up here, but I have like this emotional attachment. But it's a Rider Waite deck, but it's like the official box deck. My best friend got it for me. She went to Salem, Massachusetts,
Mm,
and it's like the fancy original, like whole set. It's my favorite deck. It's still downstairs. It's in great condition, but now I
yeah.
kind of just memorialized it. It's my favorite deck. That's my
I
favorite.
have that original Rider Waite deck that a friend had gifted to me, and I really don't use it that much. It doesn't have a box anymore. This is the closest though. This is my first deck that was the very first
Oh,
one I ever used.
the
It's the Universal
universal.
Weight. So
Okay.
it's based off of the Rider Waite, of
Mhm.
course, but it does have, since it's the Universal, it does have the stars on the
I
back
love
and that.
that.
But yeah,
I
that's my
actually,
first one.
I also, so I got a Rider Waite deck the same time that there's an Egyptian tarot deck I got. It was gifted to me.
Hmm.
And it was really interesting because it was when I was really learning tarot, like as a science as a whole.
Hmm.
And I will never forget when they gave it to me and they're like, well, you have to actually use the guidebook that comes with it
Mm.
because it's it's like a really it's based on like the original tarot.
Yeah.
So it includes like the Hebrew lettering,
Oh,
it includes the astrological associations, but it's pretty simple on the outside.
yeah.
But I mean the imagery is usually what does it. It's
Yeah.
really cool. It gives like all of the numeric
Oh,
association.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so it really mimics the original tarot arcanum, and a lot of the meanings are very literal, like as
Mhm.
almost the same as when Archangel Raziel gave the tarot to us. So it's one of my favorite decks and it's the second one I got,
Mhm.
but it was very challenging to learn. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm, yeah.
So I really used a lot of intuitive faculties, but I've done some really good readings with this deck. This deck is probably, yeah, it's up there. It's up there on my list of favorites.
Yeah,
So,
it's hard to pick a favorite, isn't it?
yeah. Do you use Oracle cards more, Pamela, or are you like,
I have a bunch of Oracle decks and I've never used them to try to do a reading or anything. You may have seen
okay,
on my social media, I'll post a
I love,
daily Oracle.
yeah, I love
Um,
them.
yeah, so it's just something like that, and I like the artwork, and a lot of times it's just like almost like an affirmation or just like a thought for the day or something like that with the Oracle. I've never gotten into doing like Oracle card readings or anything, and I don't know, I don't feel like it's as deep, but I've gotten an Oracle card reading from someone else who is a very gifted reader.
Mhm.
And it amazed me how deep and how much, and of course they used a lot of their intuition
Of
with
course,
it. But
yes.
I don't remember the deck that they used, but I was amazed at how deep it really was for an Oracle deck. So yeah, what are your thoughts on the Oracle?
I really enjoy Oracle decks. I know a lot of, at one point, it was very like either or, like the
Mm-hmm.
community was very split about it. But I personally enjoy them because I feel like people tend to resonate with them more because
Mm.
they hyper focus on our literal mundane, like what is immediately impacting us in these moments.
Yeah,
Whereas tarot can be more like evolutionary
right.
or
Life.
wide scale, like, you know what I mean? A higher lens, like, if
Yes.
you will. So I love oracle cards for that. A lot of people get readings from us and they're in distress. Like, people have
Hmm.
various readings.
They're
I feel like
looking for something. Yeah.
it brings more clarity, I feel like, when you're doing readings for others, because not everyone is fully engaged in their intuitive ability. So being able to see the
Yeah.
imagery on oracle decks and all of that and just read, whatever the card
Yeah.
may say, some people that really helps. Like it genuinely
Yeah.
helps. So I love oracle. I feel like it's reader friendly,
Hmm.
it's client friendly. And truthfully, whenever I have people that have never had a reading at all with tarot and they may be hesitant, I'm like, want to try an oracle deck, and they
Yeah.
love it. They end up loving it. They love it.
Yeah.
So
It's almost like an introduction to tarot almost.
and
You know.
it's so funny because I have a friend that reads like the Leonard Man cards, which I
Oh
don't.
yeah, I was going to ask you about those too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I know a bit about it, but
Hmm.
I don't use them personally.
Yeah.
But to me, they're a lot like oracle cards.
Hmm.
But they do. The only thing is, oracle cards have no actual structure. So every
Right,
deck
right.
is different. Whereas Leonard Man has a structure
Yeah,
because cards
very
like
much.
associations. I like that it's again like oracle cards. This is what you can do immediately to take care of.
Yeah.
These are immediate concerns you have,
Yeah.
and it's very like some people call it mundane because it's. But I'm like it's worldly. It helps you tackle real life things that are happening
Hmm.
right now to you. Whereas tarot can be a bit more whimsical and that it's more projective,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
some people need immediate relief or solutions now. So Lenormand or Oracle cards are usually best for that, in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
I really do. I don't have any beef with those at all. I know some tarot readers are very adamant on not using them. I personally love them.
Yeah, I kind of wonder when people are, I would never use this, whether it's a certain tarot deck, like I know Thoth deck, some people have an issue with that
Yeah,
because of, I guess, Aleister Crowley and that. But not that's not just that one. That's the first one that came to mind. But even
yeah,
with tarot, people are like, I would never do this. I would always, just so cut and dry that I think it kind of
yes.
closes off people to just their own expansion in spirituality and their intuition and all of that. It kind of closes them off to say, I would never, mix Oracle and Tarot or use this certain
Which
deck
I
or,
do all the time. I love to mix them. That's
yeah.
literally how I started using
Mm,
oracle cards.
mm-hmm,
I would do tarot readings, and if I was intuitively told, like sometimes someone would say, I'm not understanding."
mm-hmm.
So then I will say, "Okay, I'll do a clarifying poll," and
Yeah.
spirit will stop me and say, "Use an oracle deck."
Yeah.
So I will clarify with oracle more
Mm-hmm,
often than with tarot. Even if
mm-hmm.
I'm doing a tarot reading, when I'm clarifying, I'm going to use oracle because it's going to give me a more specific outlook,
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
opinion. So that's how I actually started using oracle cards.
Yeah. I love
I
that. Yeah.
Everyone thought I was nuts. They're like, "Why are you using both in the same reading?" I'm like, "They're
Yeah.
clarifiers. Like they hype your focus on issue. It works. Like it changed my readings tenfold. They love them.
Mm-hmm.
Like it really does work." So any tarot readers out there, if you are hesitant, that's a good way to incorporate oracle cards. Use them as clarifiers. It
Mm-hmm.
is so good. So good.
Yeah.
It will
Yeah.
level up readings in a way you wouldn't believe. And then after that, everyone loves an oracle deck.
Yeah. So I mentioned before, and I never did finish my thought, but do you do specific spreads? Like there's so many different types of,
Mm-hmm.
there's what, like the Celtic
The
cross, that's
Celtic
kind of the
cross.
most well known, and there's all different kinds. If people don't know what a spread is, it's really
Mhm.
just the way you lay down the cards.
Correct.
And then each space, it's not just the card meaning or what comes to you intuitively, it's the space in which it's laid
It's
that
late.
makes a difference as well. So you're really bringing in all these different things. So which do you use mostly, or which do you like, or do you not even use them? Because I know some
Yeah.
readers will be like, we're just going to pull cards and ask questions and whatever. So yeah,
So
and nothing's wrong or right. So
I'm a wild card reader, as
yeah.
probably most people would imagine. I do not I when I first learned tarot, I was a fan of the Celtic cross. I
Yeah.
did use that often, but I don't know. I have like it's probably the untamable spirit in me. I felt so constricted, like
Right.
using spreads. I was like, this is insane because sometimes I've done readings for people where I'll pull three cards and I'm like, that's it. I know your whole life. I got it. Like it'll all
Right.
flood me. And then
Yeah.
I have other people where I might be eight cards in where I'm like, okay, we finally Got it.
Yeah.
So I'm a wild card reader. I'm going to be honest. I pull based on intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I'm also, which I know people really don't like, but I'm a shuffler. I love shuffling because I like to keep the energy
Mm-hmm.
circulating in my decks. So even as I'm like channeling, I'm shuffling. And if
Yeah.
something comes out, it's intended to come out. I'm going to read that as well. So
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan. Even my students, they'll tell you they laugh because they're like, man, I spent all this time learning different spreads. And once they're done like going through my course, they're like the best tarot readers ever because I'm like, yeah, it's hard to restrict spirit and guidance in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I personally, I'm sorry for anyone that might be disappointed by that,
I
but I
think it's
do
great
not.
to let people know that though, because I think
Yeah.
probably other readers, especially if they're newer readers, feel like, oh, I've got to follow
They're so
this
strict on
format.
themselves. Yes.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
met people where they're like, well, I was actually scared to not use it. I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
what would happen if and I'm like, well, what did you think would happen? The card would eat you? Like, what is going to happen? I don't know. So I do
Right.
understand that when you're using a spiritual tool, you want to be as safe as possible. So
Mm-hmm.
that's usually what is the case in most people's experience. But no, I really don't. But I am usually a big fan of I call it a Trinity pull. I like to do three
Mm-hmm.
cards and that's the basis for every reading I do, and we go from
Yeah.
there. Unless I might channel with an angel that day, like if I'm channeling with Archangel Michael, and he may
Mm-hmm.
tell me, no, one is sufficient. But that's also because I'm channeling and I'm going to have other insight
Right. So
coming
it's
in
more
from
than just the reading. Yeah.
right. But
Yeah.
usually my rule of thumb is I start with three cards. A Trinity, like I'm big on threes. Like
Yeah.
everything in a Trinity for me, it works. It brings a good amount of stable power and it tends to usually be very good. And then anything outside of that, if I'm clarifying, I'll use an Oracle deck that I'm pulled towards. I may sometimes I'm one of those odd people where I can kind of read with anything.
Yeah.
So I might have shells next to me. I might read with that. I might read with keys. I do like reading with keys, and I do use a pendulum sometimes. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes if your energy is like you feel like you can't really get it through your card, sometimes you can use another tool in addition to
Right.
the card. So I'm a huge fan of pairing like my pendulum with tarot and oracle because some people will have very yes no questions and
Yeah.
it's hard to ask them in another format. And at that point, I'm like, okay, we'll use a different divinatory tool, but I'm still
Right.
using the tarot to guide that tool. So
Yeah, so interesting, and it all blends together so much. So mentioned that you use the oracle cards as clarifiers for tarot sometimes. So you want to get into some of the other types of card readings, like the cartomancy and those types of
sure,
things. Talk about
sure.
that a little bit.
So cartomancy, and I'm shame on me for not bringing an actual. I have all these other great cards, but I didn't bring cartomancy. Is just using a standard card deck, a
Yeah.
regular playing card deck, and every suit in the deck is attributed to a mean, just like with tarot. It's like minor, major arcana. So you have your diamonds, you have hearts, you have your clubs, you have your spades, and they each represent a certain thing. Like spades are going to be like spiritual development and things that are work related or health issues also. Hearts are going to be more your intuitive, and it's like cups. For those of you that you may know tarot, but you don't know cartomancy, the wand suit is the same as a club suit. They're synonyms, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
A diamond in a card deck is going to be the same as pentacles in a tarot deck.
Mm-hmm.
If we are doing hearts in a card deck and tarot, that's going to be cups.
Mm-hmm.
And then spades in a card deck are going to be our swords in a tarot deck.
Yeah.
So, say you don't have a literal tarot deck, you actually can utilize the cartomancy cards, like a standard card deck, for their literal meanings, like
Mm-hmm.
in a mundane, again, those I'm gonna say cartomancy is also another one. It's similar to Oracle and Leonard, like man, where you want to focus on immediate issues at hand. So it's
Yeah.
for like immediate assistance, not so much further development.
Mm-hmm.
If you have more enhanced abilities, you can use it for that. You can use it for very
Yeah.
projective readings. I also tell people if you don't want to invest in a tarot deck just yet, you can literally convert a card deck to a
Yeah.
tarot deck. So, which I I've done. I have so many downstairs. So sometimes I'm just bored and want new energy, and I'll make a tarot deck out of a card deck.
Yeah.
So that's something that's very feasible and possible because it's the same as tarot. They're going to have similar meanings, essentially.
Yeah. So you don't
Um,
have to wait until you can get your own tarot deck to start practicing.
correct.
Hmm.
Correct. You can literally make the association. There is a gentleman that it could be probably a 12-year-old video at that point.
Yeah.
But he teaches like in the best way I've ever seen how to convert your card deck into a
Hmm.
tarot deck. I know I have it bookmarked somewhere because it was so good that I was like, I'm going to send this to any student that doesn't. You can buy a card deck from the dollar store, and
Right,
make a
right.
tarot deck out of it. Buy another one and just use it for cardomancy. But I tend to use my cardomancy deck when someone is coming to me and they have a very specific concern that I'm
Hmm.
evaluating. When I originally started using it, I used it for everything because it was the only
Hmm.
thing I knew how to read. So I used it, which it got me very far. Like I love reading with those cards. Now I use it for that, and I use it more ritualistically, actually,
Hmm.
because in hoodoo it's used a lot. It's for magical purposes,
Hmm.
obviously. Like you can use a king of spades is going to represent like the card of God, so you can use it
Hmm.
as a carry it with you to protect you,
Yeah.
like from a standard card deck. But I use it for more of the immediate and mundane issues or very specific issues when reading. So if
Yeah.
I do a pull on you and I have a eight of diamonds that comes out and the queen of hearts, I'm going to say, okay, listen, eight of diamonds correlates with the sun, and it's also going to correlate with wealth, money rapidly being accumulated as well in cardomancy. And then queen of hearts is like a socialite, if you will. It's like a famed celebrity, a very influential healer. So
Hmm.
I would know that, hey, you have a really good outlook coming up here because these two cards came out.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of great sources online that you can learn standard cardomancy where they just break it down by the suit. I actually can send you. I do have like myself, like it's literally in my notes because I send it to my students all the time. So I will send it to you if you want to share it in like the description of this video.
Okay.
One that wants to learn basic cardomancy,
Nice.
they can at
Nice.
least know what the. It's very easy. It's a great tool to start with if you're intimidated by tarot.
Yeah.
That's what I will, and it's very low cost investment. Okay,
Hmm.
so definitely start there. But I will send that to
Well,
you.
that would be great. Yeah.
Cardology and cardomancy is like it walks so cardology could run because
Okay.
cardology is going to be the fusion of symbology,
Hmm.
cardomancy, numerology, and astrology. So it combines all of those modalities. But it's interesting because the basis of it, you're familiar with in astrology, like a natal chart.
Yeah, I'm familiar, but not real well.
No, you don't have to know it real well as long as you've heard, because some people are like, I've never even heard a natal
I've
chart
heard of
before.
it, but astrology is one of those areas that really, yeah.
It's always something going on. I tell you,
There's too much.
this is like I'm like I love astrology, and by default, I have to know it in
Right.
order to practice cardology.
Right.
But man, when I tell you, it gives me a run for my money. It's
Hmm.
like the astrologists that really keep up with it, like that is their soul. I'm like, you are incredible. I have an
Yeah.
astrologist because
Yeah.
I don't even want to do it all the time. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot.
I
It's a
so
lot. Yeah.
it is a lot. But cardology is going to be a fusion of all four of those. And it uses what is called a solar spread. It's
Okay.
literally like a square. I will also send you an image of this. It's just a square that has all of the cards laid out in even lines. And then you can see each line is ruled by a particular planet. So those cards, that's their home. When you are born, every single day of the week, of the year, has a particular card that rules that day. Some cards appear a lot, some cards appear only once in
Mm.
cardology. For example, I'm today is a five of clubs day, Pamela. So
Okay.
we're doing exactly what people do on five of clubs day. They're great communicators. It's
Nice.
like the card of Taylor Swift and a bunch of other, and like so it's big with podcasting and things
Mm.
of that nature. So here we are.
Nice.
So we're aligned with the energy. Now, when you are born, whatever day you're born on, that is your card. It's like saying this is my zodiac sign.
Yeah.
Same thing. Similar, I guess, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yesterday was a six of clubs day. I'm a six of clubs.
Mm.
So that particular card is going to rule over your entire life imprint, essentially. Cardology is more as a predictive system, but also for developmental, spiritual development. It's also quite plainly like a cheat code for life. It's one of
Okay.
the few like divination tools, if you will,
Yeah.
that can give you like one of the most full spectrum outlooks of your life.
Mm-hmm.
The only issue is that no one has any idea what it is or how to use it.
Right,
So
right.
there's very few of us out here that even practice
Yeah.
cardology or know what it is. But once you learn, I specialize in teaching people about their particular card first, so that way they can understand the cards that are in their spread, which
Mm-hmm.
means like your natal chart. So
Yeah.
every planet in your chart has another card associated with it. Man, it's so funny because Pamela, what is your zodiac sign?
Cancer.
I knew it. In my head, I was like, I can feel, I don't know what it is about cancers. I don't know if it's the sun and moon thing because I'm a Leo. I knew it. I was like, I know she's probably a Cancer. I can feel that already. I don't know. It's probably the abilities, but I'm so good at that. So as soon as you said that, I was like, man, she's probably one of the hearts or something like that. I guarantee you when I look, your birthday is probably one of those. Um, Now back to cardology. It is your card is going to give you a pathway for your entire life because you'll see what your entire planet, every planet in your spread holds for you. So it's literally the hand you're dealt. And
Yeah.
every year your cards change, except for your sun card.
Mm.
So the ultimate goal with cardology is for you to understand every card. There's 52 cards in a deck
Mm-hmm.
and to learn to encompass them as a whole so that you are a whole spiritual being. That
Yeah.
is the entire purpose of cardology. It works extremely well. Like it
Yeah.
is every time someone learns their card, they're fascinated. After that, it's like down the rabbit hole for them. So
Yeah.
it's
So
something. I'm sorry, go ahead, Pamela.
I was just gonna say so much of this is such a
Yeah,
rabbit hole.
it is such a rabbit hole. It really is. Cardology's I've been practicing it for 9 years now. And
Mm-hmm.
even if you have any sort of, which you do, intuitive faculties, cardology is like probably my number one go-to tool,
Yeah.
even above tarot
Mm-hmm.
when I'm trying to do a all-encompassing reading on someone. I will usually start with their cardology because
Mm-hmm.
from there, I can intuitively pick up everything else I need to learn. So
Yeah.
you would really like it if you dive into it. I promise you, Pamela,
Yeah.
this is incredible. Some people will absolutely adopt it in place of like tarot
Mm-hmm.
because it essentially encompasses the similar arcanas. It's like all of it encompassed in one.
Yeah.
So it's a really good tool. I think you would.
Yeah, at this time in my life, I've got more time than ever before in my life to delve deep into some of this stuff. So it's kind of like now's the time. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it.
Do it
So
now. Do
right,
it
right.
now. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things that you mentioned were some of the rituals that you do. So what would you say that is most important as far as a ritual that you do before every reading? I know you mentioned cleansing the cards. So what kinds of rituals do you do before any reading?
Okay. Yeah. No, that's a great question. I'm very strict with how I am with
Hmm.
my readings. I don't care if it's just tarot or if I'm doing a full blown mediumship reading.
Yeah.
I make sure I cleanse like myself.
Hmm.
Um, and that is before going into I have a designated space where I do readings.
Yeah.
So I will smoke cleanse, or I may actually just take an entire cleansing bath, or there
Hmm.
is some form of tea. Like I
Hmm.
have a psychic tea that I use often. So
Yeah.
that I make. So I will usually use that as well. I don't know if anybody else does this. I know a few other people, but I have to open because I want to be able to use my intuitive faculties. So I will, or channeling for that matter. So I usually take time to kind of pray. I sit, then I will meditate, and then I usually do always recite Psalm 91. I'm big on the Psalms usage. I love them.
Okay.
That's the one. That's the one thing you couldn't get out of this Christian girl. Like it worked. They're incredible. So I usually will recite Psalm 91 because I want to protect myself psychically, and then I'll do my reading. So I'm like, even when I do in-person readings, which I do a lot,
Mm-hmm.
like I'll have a few different events throughout the city that I'm at, and they're like, you got to give her time to do her opening. It's really important that everyone is safe. And if I don't do this, it's like there's no protection over the space. So
Yeah.
I am really strict about that. If I'm reading a client in person or like on the phone, but if someone is on the phone with me, I usually ask that they kind of be stationary and not like,
Yeah.
because there is interference, like spiritual interference that can
Sure.
intervene with something they have going on. So I know some other readers are very lax, but I am
Hmm.
really ritualistic in that way.
Yeah.
Like I take 3 spiritual baths a week just to make sure everything is good and clear.
Yeah.
Like before every reading, I pray. I make sure I smoke cleanse. I actually have, and the smoke cleanse I make, it might vary. Like if
Hmm.
sometimes I might just say, hey, I will use sage. Other times I might burn some mullein and some myrrh. Who knows?
Hmm.
Like some, it depends on what I'm intuitively called to, but a smoke cleanse and I go on my space. I
Yeah.
usually invoke my spiritual team for protection, and then I do Psalm 91 and I get to work.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, so it sounds long and tedious, but it keeps me safe. So,
Well, and if you get into a routine of it, it's just kind of like, okay, we're doing a reading. Now I'm getting into that mode and I'm going to do these certain steps. So
and
yeah.
I feel like the same, a lot of readers don't like close their energy when they're done. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people feel like, oh, I don't have spiritual endurance to do this work. And I'm like,
Ah,
no, you're just leaving an open, like it's like leaving a sink running. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
That's so that's another thing I tell anybody, please make sure you close your
Hmm.
energy after you do readings. Like put your decks away neatly, even if you don't want to smoke cleanse them, you don't want to do all of that. If I don't have like smoke, you can
Yeah.
literally blow on your deck. Like you
Mm-hmm.
just you anoint it with your own breath, you blow on it, cleanse it, or you can knock on your deck to cleanse it.
Hmm.
But you just kind of want to let the universe, God, whoever you're working with
Yeah.
for your reading, let them know that you have closed this
We're
energetic access. You're done. That's it. So that
yeah.
way your energy, because I've had some people where they get sick after a while and they think
Mm.
now all of a sudden tarot is a bad thing. And I'm like, no, you
Yeah.
have not good spiritual hygiene. That's all.
Yeah.
That's oftentimes what it is. So that's something just I had to say for disclosure. Yeah.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Yeah. Mhm.
Let's address some of the superstitions around tarot. One thing I'm thinking of, because you had mentioned how people had gifted you, you get a lot of cards that are
Mhm.
gifted, and I'm sure you know where I'm going with this.
Yes.
A lot of people, a lot of readers have heard or think that if you buy your own deck, that it's not going to be useful, and if you
Yes.
you have to be gifted the deck for it to be useful. So obviously that's not true. But
No.
but what
No.
other kinds of superstitions like that have you heard of?
So I've heard a lot of things. I will say the most common thing I do hear is that, and I'm going to speak, is people just calling it outright demonic. They're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, tarot is demonic," and I'm like, "Well, can you elaborate? Like,
Yeah.
what is demonic? Because there's a lot of things in this world that surround us that are genuinely demonic, and no one pays it a bats an eye, you know."
Yeah.
So I feel like that is one of the biggest misconceptions. I
Mhm.
don't know. I'm not going to say I don't know why. I think it has a lot to do with the Crowley previous association
Mhm.
and all of that. And the fact that people consider it an occult tool, which it is, but they don't understand occult has a negative connotation. So
Mhm.
by default, tarot gets a bad rap, but occult
Yeah.
just means hidden knowledge.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but people don't care to know that it has a bad
Right.
stigma, and that's that. So
Right.
I'm like, it is an occult tool because it is a hidden knowledge, but that's because at previously in time, you had to have actually, earned the right to use this
Mhm.
tool.
Right.
It wasn't
Right.
just given to anyone. So um, that is the biggest stigma and misconception. And it probably makes me the angriest. Not that I get angry because everyone has an opinion, right?
Right. Right.
But to say that when I know it's a tool that has helped so many people,
Right.
like I've literally seen it give people relief that they would never have had elsewhere or
Mhm.
insight they wouldn't have had. So it makes me sad when people say stuff like that because it's just ignorance, you know?
Yeah, and you work with
Um,
angels as well, and that so
yeah,
that that really shows you personally, and anybody else who works with angels and has that kind of connection. It really, I mean, there's
yeah,
your if you need proof or anything like that, there it
yeah.
is right there. So
Oh
yeah,
my goodness. They're all, it's for anyone that wants to look this up, by the way, the 72 letter angels of God, the 72 letter name of God, those angels are the angels associated with the tarot. So they're very easy to find. Anyone can fact check this, and then using people do, and they're like, wow, that's incredible. And I'm like, yeah, it's a great tool. So that is one of the largest stigmas, misconceptions I feel like tarot has. Also, I feel like people have just put really weird rules on everything. I
yeah,
feel like every tool is unique to its user, its
mm-hmm,
the reader, whoever's holding the power for that tool. I've
yeah,
even, I mean, admittedly so, I've even had like friends where I've been called to, I'm like, hey, can I use your deck? Like I'll cleanse it and all that. And I might use their deck. There are people that would absolutely never do that. And I'm
right,
like,
right,
I mean, if you do it unsafely, yeah, I'm sure I wouldn't do it either. But these are like rules that humans have made to just complicate something that was meant
yeah,
to uncomplicate our lives, you
right,
know?
right,
A lot like there's some readers that are like, hey, if I don't split the deck in three, I can't use it. It's not a valid reading.
mm-hmm,
That's something I've heard. And I'm like, well, that's news to me because I've done
yeah,
thousands of readings and they're all pretty accurate. So
right. Without using that, yeah,
without doing that. So there's a lot of, I feel like everyone has their own rituals almost
right,
when it comes to cards. But as far as misconceptions, it's just that it's a demonic tool. They
yeah,
think it's, again, they think occult means that. And I'm like, it
right,
doesn't. Even religious studies are fall under occult categories because
right,
some of the knowledge is hidden. So
yeah, yeah.
they don't understand that. But
What
wild.
about like reading reverse cards? I know there's some controversy with that.
There is. So it's funny because I'm very intentional about making sure my cards are upright.
That's what I
So
do too. Yeah.
I am. I'm gonna be honest, I am.
Yeah, me
So
too.
when I do get a reversal, I know some readers that are like, I don't read reversals at all.
Right.
I do read them, but it's just rare, especially if they come out in my deck because it's rare because my decks
Right,
are
right.
upright.
It's
So
like
that
that one
means
was meant to be
it was
upside
meant to
down
be
because
upside
I've
down.
already put
So
it, I know I put it face up. Yeah. Or the right
I'm like,
side up. Yeah.
they have a whole system for reading reversals for a reason, I feel like, you
Mm,
know? So I personally, again, it could also intuitive. I've had times where a card might come out and it fell and it's upside down, and I will
yeah.
hear spirit say, oh no, it's meant to be a right side up. So
Right.
if that's not happening to you, then read the reversals. Like, I don't
Hmm.
know why, I don't know when that became a thing. Like,
Yeah.
I saw it kind of become a trend where people are like, I don't read reversals,
Yeah.
not love and light. And I'm like, it's clearly it's not love and light. That's why we need to read it. We need to
Yeah.
figure out what's going on
Yeah, the
here.
whole reading can't just all be of love and
I
light. Yeah,
Yeah,
if
the
you're going
whole
to be
thing.
real about it. Yeah.
Exactly. You can't, it's not possible. So no, I do read reversals because again, I'm very intentional on not having them. So
Hmm.
if they appear, I am going to read and interpret it the way
Yeah.
I need to. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What would you say to, so I know, and you probably know people like this too. So I have a friend, and I'm gonna send this to her or make sure she watches this. But
Mr. People.
yeah, she is such a gifted card reader. However, she does not, I don't know if she doesn't have the self-confidence
Mhm.
or she doesn't, definitely, she's not like on social media. She doesn't market at all. She's been at a few events. She's done readings for me and other friends and family of hers and that. But she is like one of the most gifted readers that I know of that I've experienced anyway.
They're
And
never online. I don't know
she's,
what it
she's
is.
just not, she's just not, developing in that. Yeah.
I wonder, so is she having an experience where I feel like it's a lack of faith? Because some people
Might be.
genuinely don't believe that they're as good as they actually are.
Yeah, I have no idea
So
what her issue is.
that tends to be, and truthfully, for some people, it's fear. Like some people they know that they're so good at something that if they put themselves out there, they can genuinely have a lot of success.
Yeah.
That can kind of be destabilizing for some people when they live a certain lifestyle or
Hmm.
they're used to a certain thing. Um, it's so interesting that she's not. How long has she been reading? I guess for.
Well, so I've known her since about 2018, I think.
Okay.
And so it's not a whole long time. And I know she's got like, lots and
Wow.
lots of decks. And she just like will get what she's intuitively drawn to and she really likes them. So I don't know how long she's been actually doing readings for other people.
Okay.
She's just always been so drawn to tarot. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know that she's all that intuitive as far as like in her regular life. But starts to when she starts to use tarot, then she really can tune in and like really get to everything that's going on with
That's
somebody
there.
in their life.
Some people are natural, like card. Well, that to me, like growing up, people would say that's someone that's a natural cardomancer. Like you
Yeah.
are. It's you know who else? My daughter is a good example. My daughter
Mhm.
is 12. She'll be 13 soon, and she can just. I mean, her readings put me. I'm like, can we not tell anybody that you do this because they won't book with me? She's so good. Like it's just a nat. I was baffled the first time I
Yeah.
saw it. I said, "How do you know this? So, how are you so good?" She's like, "I don't know. It's like I just touch the cards and I just know what they mean." That's what she said. I
Yeah.
said, "Oh, okay." That's and I don't read in front of her often. Like she's not. She knows what I do for a living, but
Right.
she doesn't watch readings or anything. She's
Right.
just so. Some people are definitely just predisposed. Like it
Right.
genuinely is a gift. But I feel, and this is an intuitive feeling. I genuinely feel like your friend knows that she would be really successful, and for some people that is fearsome. I am
Yeah.
someone. I'm speaking from experience because for years I fought doing anything spiritually in a professional
Hmm.
regard for a long time because I knew that I would probably have success at it
Yeah.
because my gifts are a little rare and it came so rapidly that it definitely was like it could have been nerve-wracking. So
So it's a little jarring to like be like, oh, this is going to change my life.
yes. So, and I feel like I held myself back for a very long time.
Yeah.
Some people genuinely also, it's like a something that, hey, this is my fun thing. If I make this a professional pursuit, it takes the joy out of it for me.
Mm.
Because there are other spiritual practices I have that I would say fall under that category where people are
Yeah.
like, hey, you can Reiki, for example. They're
Yeah.
like, hey, you can do Reiki. Why don't you offer it? Because it's something I do personally that I
Hmm.
enjoy. So if I start doing it as a service, I'm like, oh, it's a service. like now,
Right. Right.
so
It's another
I don't
service. Yeah.
offer it unless I'm even when I do walkthroughs,
Hmm.
I do a lot of cleansings at funeral homes and such,
Yeah.
and I will refer them to other Reiki specialists,
Hmm.
even though I can do Reiki, but I don't want to do that.
You don't want it to be part of that service. Yeah.
Keep that as something that I do for fun at home. A lot like dowsing. I love
Hmm.
dowsing, but I just do it for myself and my family. That's
Yeah.
it. I don't do it for clients or anything
Hmm.
like that. So it could be something along those lines that she's dealing with. But I feel like a lot of us, we try to shrink away from our
Yeah.
gifts in that regard. If she works with Archangel Michael at all, I guarantee you, give her a month's time, he'll have her out there. Like Archangel Michael is that's actually the energy I worked with when I was trying to get myself into the spiritual field, and I probably would not be here if I did not work with that angel. I could tell you that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, we're kind of running out of time, and I know we
Okay,
still could go a whole nother hour if we
I
wanted
know.
to.
We should be on a stream, I feel like what are the kids on Twitch now? I don't know. I
I
have
don't know.
no idea. I can't keep up with it. I had
Yeah.
someone tell me that yesterday. They said you should go on streaming. I'm like, the closest I can do is YouTube Live. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, the
That is
closest
it.
I can do.
That's the closest I can do. I don't have the energy to do anything else
Yeah.
outside of YouTube Live. That's it.
I do want to let people know too, we've mentioned you talked about some services, a lot more of that. And again, that's a shorter episode, the Holistic Connections
Okay.
podcast that I do. We're going to have your episode down below so people can find that as well. Is there anything else that you want to make sure that people know or make sure that we discuss or that you think is important about tarot or about card readings?
Tarot. I actually have something that I'm gonna send you because I do
Okay.
have the video files. Last year on the summer solstice, I spoke at the Global High Vibe Summit.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool, like broadcasted to like over 100 different countries.
Mm.
And I spoke on the astrology and tarot panel. with
Okay.
Erin. Her name was Erin, and the other woman on there with us was Stephanie. Incredible, incredible, incredible people. And I have really good clips that I feel like you personally would. I'm not saying to share here, but I mean, feel
Okay.
free to if you'd like. But but personally, might inspire you in that way. But it has a lot of really interesting aspects of how it's used as like a developmental tool with astrology. But as far
Thank
as
you.
for the listeners, anything else other than please be safe. I tell every it is a tool. It has as much power as you're going to give it, but again, it is a tool. Once you work with it, it's almost like activating a deck, if you will. So make sure you're intentional in using it. I know a lot of people see people on TikTok that read and they're doing readings with, Cheetos in their hand and whatnot and all. Please don't be that reader. Like use it as a real tool and respect it. You know what I'm saying? That bothers me. I'm like, it's probably also because I'm just so
Cheetos.
strict. Like it cracks me up because I'm like, look at them go. They don't have a care in the world. Look at them. Meanwhile, I'm like, it's like an 8-step process for me to
Mm-hmm.
start my read. I don't mind doing readings in fun, unconventional spaces. Some people do it. That's something else I probably should have mentioned earlier. People have a fear of reading it. I don't have a fear of that. Again, as long as you protect and shield yourself, you're okay.
Yeah.
But making sure that if you do that, you are protecting your deck and yourself too. So
Yeah.
those are
I think
just,
there's a level of respect and
yeah.
reverence that you have to have, and that's where that's coming from you.
I'm going to say this. Start by literally just taking the deck and laying it out and looking at the imagery and go suit by suit and just stare at the imagery. I feel a lot of times it's a lot like I make seals like for clients like Hebrew seals.
Mm.
Usually they're using it for like talismans or ritualistic purposes, but I use it with angels.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is in Hebrew because it's a key language. So if you scan it, you are able to invoke those energies by
Wow.
scanning just the lettering. Um, Same with tarot. It's a lot
Mm-hmm.
like that with certain decks. If you scan it, it is like imprinting it in your brain. It's almost like psychically scanning it. And
Mm-hmm.
I find that when people do that, the readings come out a lot better, like down the long run. So don't
Okay.
be in such a rush to learn all the literal meanings of the cards.
Yeah.
Please take time to scan them psychically and visually and then build from there. I
Yeah.
should have said that early on, but that would be one of my best takeaways if I have one.
Great. Great. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for being my guest today. This has
Oh,
been
of
so
course.
great.
This was great. There's so much to, man. I'm like, I just know so much about cards. I'm over here
Yeah.
thinking like I forgot to even mention there's certain psalms you can use for when you're working with cards. Like there's so much, but
There is so much.
there's
And
so much.
that's why I wanted to talk about basically mainly just cards because like I said, you were on the podcast. We talked a little bit about everything that you do and the cards were included in that, but I wanted
Yes.
to also talk just about cards
Well,
because
I feel like too, we're as a whole in the world, everybody is very interested. Like
hmm
people are starting to develop more of a interest in their actual spiritual development. People are
right.
more spiritually open. So I think it's great to talk about this because this is a tool that really does help people if it's used properly.
Yeah.
So I'm obviously very passionate about it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's definitely a tool that I would implement if I was on a spiritual journey. I would implement it even if I was not on a spiritual journey, to be
hmm
honest. I have a lot of clients that come to me and they have no, like, they're not necessarily on a traditional spiritual journey, but
Right.
they do get genuine assistance from utilizing
Right.
tarot. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so much to talk about.
Yeah. I
Thank
appreciate you
you for
so much.
having me. I appreciate you, Pamela.